Mexico, the Pacific Northwest, down the California coast to San Diego. Let's ride. We want to ride with you shotgun for a while. For the next hour, Talkin Truckin with Deaton and Doty. How's it going, Mike?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Sorry,
Mike's on vacation. I'll just let everybody know so he's not in his home studio. But Mike's joining us from where? Further south in Florida than you've ever been?
in a truck, yeah, probably. I'm in Port Charlotte. Okay. Yeah, coming down here for tarpon fishing.
Cool. Who's that you got with you there?
This is my niece. She has an imaginary YouTube channel.
Oh, so cool.
She wants to say something real quick. You want to say something, Kate? Her name's Kate.
Let's do it. Hi, Kate.
Come here. All right.
Hi, guys. I wish you guys were here. It's a beautiful view. Talkin Truckin.
She got
all right.
She had something to say about talking trucking, but
yeah, we heard it because you got shy. Thanks, Kate.
She said it clear as day before.
Yeah, we heard it, and we appreciate that, Kate. Or Kate. I'm sorry.
Kate. Yeah.
So a couple things before me and Mike get going. This week on the show, we got a couple drivers calling in. Ray will be joining us, and Kevin Lewis will be joining us. There's a couple things we want to do too. So just let me give you a little background. Kumar is our sound engineer for the show. He knows nothing about trucking. He's never been in a trucking office or in our office or anywhere around a truck. So we got a couple of questions we put together this week that we're going to talk trucking with Kumar. Trucking questions with Kumar. We're going to do that a little later, so hang on for that one. And also, Joel's been working really harder than he's working on booking freight. But on the 2021 NFL mock draft with Joel Howell, we'll be doing some of the first-round selections that Joel's come up with. And then after we get done with this over the next few weeks, we'll see, once the draft's here, we'll see how Joel Howell did.
And yourself. We're comparing.
How's it going, Joel?
It's going great.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Pretty good. Joel's been on nights. He's switched and covered for our night dispatcher this week. So, yeah, thanks for doing that, Joel.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
So, Mike, what's up? How you been? What's going on with you this week? You're on vacation. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I just left this morning to come down here, actually, try to get some guys booked before I left. But I am going to go tarpon fishing, hopefully. But, of course, as soon as I plan it, we planned this a month ago or two ago for the first hill tide, which is when all the crabs flush out of the pass there and the tarpon feed on those. But there's a bad red tide down here.
What's a red tide?
It's an algae bloom in the water that basically kills all the fish. Yeah, on this beach, this little beach right next to this dock back here, there's a bunch of dead fish.
Wow, so the fish is not going to be good, huh?
Not for, I'm hoping that Boca's about a 25-mile boat ride kind of to the northwest, but we'll see. I don't know how it's going to be out there. So, yeah, it may be a bust, but
yeah.
Oh, well, there'll be some whiskey involved. So it should be all right.
Well, Mike, a funny thing. So every time Mike takes a weekend trip or a few days off, I end up booking, and the last time Ian helped me, but I end up booking his guys to Maine, North Dakota, or somewhere that they've never been before. And so Mike's guys, when they found out he was going, they all planned to be off so that I didn't book them. A few of them are still running, and but they were definitely wanting to be off when Mike's off. They said, John told him, Mr. Mike, whenever you off, you got to give me a heads up so I can go back home and take off too, because I don't want Russ booking me anymore.
Yeah, he knows you can talk him into going somewhere he doesn't want to go. That's why.
It was a really good paying load, though, Mike.
A -40 wind chill.
Well, I did tell him I sent him to North Dakota in January, and I looked at the weather.
That was a great idea.
It was
above
snow.
freezing. Well, it was above freezing. It wasn't that bad. I didn't look at the forecast. I looked at the weather that day. And I told him, I said, John, it's like 40. It's not bad. Let's go. I got you really good money. And he went. And he froze up 3 times and it became a mess. But 4. But we helped him out. We got him out of the situation. And sorry, John. I just want you to know we appreciate you. And I won't send you back up north. Well, I know you're not going to let me book you anymore. So
yeah, he didn't have a fun time. He took it in stride, though. I mean, it was a tough 2 weeks, but he did a good job.
Yeah, a couple things I want to go over. I want to touch on in trucking before we get to some other things on the show and some of what Mike's been doing with his guys, some of what Zach's been doing with his guys. On Tuesdays, we sit through our dispatch team. It sits through about an hour-long webinar, whatever you want to call it. It's from the
sermon.
From the DAT Tuesday mornings. And I took down, just like last week, I brought up a couple things that, stood out to me. So I'm just going to get right into that. It's pretty quick. But like last week, I mentioned the flat, van, and reefer market and what they're predicting and where we're at with it. So we'll just start with that. The flat spot rates expected to continue. Like last week, they're just going up, continue a 10-week climb, and they don't see anything changing with that. It's just really, really strong, and we're seeing it on our flats and our steps. It's I know Kevin, he's going to be in talking to us here shortly, but Kevin, I think when he gets out to, he can tell you, I think I might have it wrong, but when he gets out to California, I think he's going to have a $13,000-$14,000 week, so it's a really nice week that Tom put together for him. Van, slightly down, about 2 cents a mile, but pretty much steady, 2 cents a mile. We're seeing it steady on ours, on our vans. Reefers, they said reefers are down 9.9%. Reefers, the rates are a little higher still than van, but they think it's going to continue to be like a steady line. It's just, sometimes you have those dips from week to week. Ian brought this up. There was, and I don't even know what this is. We'll probably get a picture on here for you. 19 super container ships. So super container ships. 19 of them sitting off the coast of Long Beach Port, waiting to get unloaded. That was Tuesday morning. And if you don't know it, Long Beach is Southern California. It's the largest port in our country, I think, as far as volume goes. So that was interesting, and I know that's good for our company, for trucking as a whole. Mike, do you know what a super container is? Super container ship? Yeah.
It's a big container.
I think it's a big ship.
No, I really
with
don't, but
a whole bunch of containers. And lastly, the number one market for volume at about 6,000 loads a week was Laredo, Texas. And I know Ray lives down there by Laredo. He's probably got stories about Laredo. But the reefer Laredo average rate per mile coming outbound from Laredo last week was $3.07 a mile. So Laredo, it's always been a strong market, but strongest in the country last week, and 6,000 loads is pretty cool.
I didn't know that. I haven't been paying attention to Laredo much. So.
Yeah, we actually haven't really been running down there much. It was a little soft for a while over the winter, at least for...
It was really soft.
Yeah, so we've been kind of just keeping our trucks in busy areas, bigger cities, Midwest, Southeast, kind of like a triangle, a little Arkansas, a little Texas, not that far down in Texas. But so that's kind of my takeaway from what we heard from the DAT webinar we sit through. One thing I really thought was interesting, I didn't know, Mike, and you come from a family with doctors. Your brother's a doctor, but I didn't know there was freight doctors. And on that webinar, they had a doctor from, I guess he works at the MIT Freight Lab, and that's how the DAT comes up with all this information. It's pretty cool, and I'm sure he's not a medical doctor. He's a PhD in
I would trust him.
Logistics or freight or whatever. But, yeah, he's very knowledgeable. Been in the business 40 years, I think they said. But that's where we're getting this information. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. There's 4 of them, a couple scientists, and DAT and the MIT Freight Lab working together, putting out this information each week so we can kind of get an idea of where we want to send our trucks, what we're going to do. So that's pretty cool.
I'm surprised
So mu-
Laredo has been hotter than Southern California.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
surprised there
know
were
if
more
the
loads.
rates are hotter coming outbound SoCal, but
Just as far as
the
loads.
volume, the
Yeah.
volume is what they were talking about. The largest market for volume last week.
And that was for reefer, though, right?
No, that was for. I believe it was for all
Oh,
freight.
okay.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe I.
Because reefer was like on fire down there.
Yeah, and that's why I wrote down the reefer outbound average rate per mile was 307. So we'll double check that for next week and let you know if that was just reefer on the 6,000 loads, or I thought it was all trailers though. So Mike, what's been going on with your guys?
Um, let's see. I don't really have anything in front of me because I brought my laptop and I don't normally work from it. But my company guy, Tom, let's see, what did he do this week? He started in, and actually, you guys talk for a second. Maybe I can bring something up.
Yeah, well,
Give me a
Tom was at home. Mike mentioned that last week, and he came out, I think a day or so after the show last week. So, and our show, we're doing in the middle of the week, and it comes out Friday. So he may have come out Wednesday or Thursday. Jesse's our company driver, Jesse. I put him on a. So he had this is a pretty good week, but on Friday it was kind of slim pickings in the air. We were in, and I wasn't getting the rate that I thought we should get, and I wanted to. So Jesse and his wife are having an anniversary, and he's such a great driver, and he's really done well for us over the last couple of years. So I told them a while back that, and they stay on the road, and so I want to do something nice for Jesse. So I told him, you guys pick wherever you want to go, and I'll take care of your hotel for the weekend. The Deaton fleet will, and so this weekend coming up is their anniversary. So I figured, well, I'll run him up north one more time on Friday. But I called the company I called. It was a really good paying load. I think it was like 4,800 on 800 or 900 miles, but it was 9 stops, and we've run these before. They're quick, and Jesse didn't have a problem with it. He knocked them all off, all on time. It wasn't like he wasn't going to these big warehouses, so it was pretty quick and stuff. But yeah, everybody in the office was like 9 stops, and so Jesse did that, and then we just grabbed him a quick one to get him back down. They wanted to go to Gulf Shores, Alabama, for the weekend.
Lovely place.
Yeah, I've never been there. Not even in a truck.
Joel, how is it down there?
It's like Destin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
White
it's
sand.
probably similar. I was going to
Golf,
say
so.
similar to this. Probably not far from Destin, but yeah, it's.
Yeah, I did see that when I was looking for loads. I put both destination and where he's picking up in, and Fort Walton is right there near Destin where we were, Mike, 3-4 weeks ago, and Fort Walton Beach, and it was only 30 or 40 miles from Gulf Shores, Alabama. Yeah,
That's nice down there. But I got potsed up, but I was able to pull some loads up here. So because I couldn't remember, I know I ran them on some short loads, so I couldn't get them off the top of my head. And like I said, I don't have everything in front of me that I normally have. But he came out of Delaware. Let's see. He came out of Delaware to Indiana for $1,500. And then he hit Michigan to South Carolina. Oh, that's what it was. He came out of Delaware on a Thursday, delivered in Indiana on a Friday, $1,500. I got him a load out of Michigan to South Carolina for $3,000. Actually, I take that back. It was 3,200. But the thing about this load, it was supposed to deliver Saturday. His hours, he couldn't make it Saturday, and they couldn't take him Sunday because it was potatoes. One of their chutes or whatever they unload with broke down. And I wasn't going to ask for detention because I knew it was going to be tight from the beginning, but it was a good paying load, and
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a 24-hour receiver. And I kept the guy updated from the beginning. When we took a while to get unloaded and we were going to get the pickup, I said, it might be tight, and I'll keep you posted. And we did. He was actually really cool about it. He said, it's potatoes, it's not hearts and lungs. It was actually his email to me. So we he actually didn't get unloaded till about 3 o'clock on Monday. But the guy he was cool. He gave me $250, an extra $250 on that load. So that was $34.50 for that load. And it was only, I think 750 miles or something like that, 780.
That's not bad.
No. It was, and if we could have got unloaded Saturday, it would have been perfect, but he had kind of a deadhead to pick it up, and it just didn't work out that way with his hours and everything. So, and plus with the thing that broke down Saturday, the guy told me we probably would have been unloaded the same time anyway. I would have got more detention on it had I made it there on time, but that was the broker was very cool about it. So that ended up being $34.50, and then I got him a load from the same guy from the same place because he was sitting there all day. I called the guy, I said, man, you got anything out of here? And he did. So he got loaded right where he got empty, and ran up to Tennessee from South Carolina for $1,500. I think that was 300 and something miles. It was Eastern Tennessee there from South Carolina. It might have been 400 miles. And then from there down to South Haven, actually, I was out. We got this from Melissa at Schneider. I think Zach grabbed this one, or Ian, but went over from Tennessee to Mississippi. One day it was pick up, open window, deliver the next morning. Delivered this morning at 7 o'clock this morning. Oh no, I take that back. Deliver 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for $1,300. Picked up today, and yeah, And then what did we get him from there? Tennessee to
Mississippi, I think.
Indiana. No. I'm sorry. Mississippi to Indiana. We got 1,800 on that. That was the one I called you about. We were at the when I was at the doctor's appointment.
That was right there by me. It was Memphis, wasn't it? Memphis to Indiana.
Yeah, Memphis to Indiana.
Right by
got him 1,500 on that. So, I mean, if you go back, he left out of Delaware Thursday. 1,500, 34.50,
49.
plus 1,400 up to Midway, Tennessee.
So it's 63.
And then Dandridge to South Haven, another 13, and he'll be
76.
Empty with that tomorrow. So 1 week, $7,600.
Good.
Yeah, and it would have been much better had we, like I said, had we been able to get that load off Saturday. That's because that was basically a day and a half load for $3,200. So, but I don't think with the issues that the receiver had anyway, I don't think we would have been able to get it off. So,
and like Mike's mentioned, and we mentioned last week when we talked about Tom and that truck, that's a dry van. That's
yeah, that is a dry van.
Yeah, so
it is a dry van. And then yeah, but. Just a heads up, Zach, that load we booked for him, I got Transport Pro up here. I don't see that load going up to Indiana, so I don't know if it's been built yet or what, but I don't see that in here yet.
Yeah.
Joel's our night dispatcher this week until tomorrow night, and he is currently on the show. So
Joel, you better build that load.
It might not have gotten built yet.
But that wouldn't be on this week. Anyway,
no,
so basically leaving Thursday to empty Thursday morning is what we just talked about. So 1 full week, yeah, 1 full week.
That's good. So real quick, we're gonna do a couple of these draft picks because Joel's worked really hard on this. So
Not hard on it.
So
Stayed up for hours.
Joel Howell's 2021 NFL mock draft, and I've got to tell you that if you don't know it. the draft is in Cleveland this year, and I'm a Clevelander. We're up here right out about 30 minutes outside of Cleveland. I'm born and raised in Cleveland, so we're real happy. Actually, draft day for a Browns fan usually was our Super Bowl of the year because we've been terrible.
Got a new
for
quarterback.
Yeah, we always got a new quarterback. It's like Christmas in Cleveland and draft day.
And a new
But
coach.
not this year coming up. So, but yeah, the draft's here. So this year, the 2021 Joel Howell NFL mock draft. With the first pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select
Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson.
with the second pick in the NFL 2021 mock draft with Joel Howell, the New York Jets select
Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU.
two quarterbacks off the board quick. With the third pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the San Francisco 49ers select
Justin Fields, quarterback, the Ohio State
University. OH. IO. Thank you, Zach. With the fourth pick in the 2021 NFL mock draft with Joel Howell, the Atlanta Falcons, who Joel is a huge fan of, outside of being a Browns fan, the Atlanta Falcons select.
It's a long story. The Atlanta Falcons select tight end Kyle Pitts, Florida.
And with the fifth pick, one of our rivals up here, we don't really consider the south half of Ohio the Buckeye State, but with the fifth pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select
Offensive lineman Penei Sewell, Oregon.
All right, their quarterback will be happy. He got beat up last year.
He was murdered.
Yeah, he was. Actually, he was out for the rest of the year after about the 10th game.
That guy will get more than $4 a mile, too.
So, Ray, Kevin, are you with us? Kevin, line one. Ray.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So, listen, this is Kevin Lewis and Ray Nieto. Ray's been on the show before. He's a veteran show broadcaster. Thanks for coming on with us, guys. I know you guys are working hard. You're running around. I think Kevin's on his way to Southern California. Ray's on his way to South Carolina, right, Ray?
No, I'm going to Orlando, Florida.
Oh, then South Carolina.
Yeah, sunnier.
Yeah. So what's going on? How was the 285 loop today, Kevin, at rush hour around Atlanta?
A parking lot.
So if you didn't know, Kevin's pulling a skateboard, which is a flatbed for all you non-trucking people, and Kumar.
That should have been a Coom question.
Should have been a question with Kumar.
Spoiled it.
Yeah.
Spoiled it.
So we're gonna.
Well, if
Yeah.
you can get out of Atlanta with both your mirrors, it's a good day.
Yeah.
And your tires.
Well, I made it out of Atlanta with both my mirrors, and I still got a hood on my truck, so I guess I'm having a great day.
You are.
And
So-
his rims.
There's a picture that we're putting up on the show right now while I'm talking, and you'll see it. It's the greatest driver of all time, I gotta tell you, and he keeps his truck clean. And it's not Kevin, and it's not Nate. He pulls a flatbed for us. He runs a lot of freight with Kevin and Nate, and they all live in Dunn, North Carolina. But the greatest truck driver of all time. And his beautiful white truck with the pink letters and the neon lights underneath. AJ, thanks. For
He has
keeping it
underglow?
clean. He does. Look on the picture. You'll
They were
see
going to
it.
say Jeff Gordon.
He has, yeah. AJ, we appreciate you and appreciate all you do. And sorry you didn't make the summit this year. You must have had something going on with those logs. You didn't get chosen by the safety team.
Oh my God.
But we wanted to recognize you and keeping it real out there, keeping it clean, keeping the shiny side up. AJ, the greatest trucker of all times. How do you think he'll like that, Kev?
That was pretty backhanded.
So, Kevin,
Yeah,
where are you headed? California? Let's talk about that.
I'm headed to Houston, Texas now, then California.
Then California, yeah. What are you hauling?
They're cabs to the little tug machines they use at the airport to haul your luggage around on.
Oh, okay. Is it heavy or light?
It's about 8,000 pounds.
Oh, nice. Did you have to tarp it or anything?
No, I just strapped it.
Okay, good. Kevin doesn't like tarp loads, do you, Kevin?
No, I don't.
So what's
One
up,
of these
Ray?
days I'm going to do like I said I'm going to do, and I'm going to pull them off the trailer so I don't have them.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought you didn't have. I thought when we talked about it in Destin there when we were at the summit, you didn't even have tarps with you. But I guess
Well,
you
they're up there. They're up there for looks.
did.
Kind of like my
like
snow
snow
chains
chains.
in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I bought those. You know what I bought? I bought those and threw them on my truck that Tom's in. Is those auto socks or whatever they are?
Yeah, those are expensive, aren't they, Mike?
I think for a set of 4, it was like $400. So not terribly bad, but they're legal, I guess, in most of the states.
They're,
From what I
they're illegal? Or
no,
legal?
they're legal. I looked at like Colorado, all the main ones. They accept those as chains. So.
You know, I was thinking about buying some, but I saw some people saying that they work really well as long as you don't get them on pavement. And sometimes where you have to pull off to the side of the road and install them, you don't actually drive on snow. You know, sometimes, and that kind of destroys them. So, kind of shied away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never used them.
Yeah, I got them more because just to have them for DOT inspections and stuff. When I was running, I very rarely went where there was snow anyway. I stayed away from the snow, so I just needed them on the truck just in case. So they haven't even been out of the bag. They're still brand new, and they've been on there for a couple of years.
So Joel, you broke some chains coming down 70 coming into Denver one time. Or I don't remember. I think that's where it was. It was years ago. Didn't your chains bust off? I think it was the first time you ever chained up.
Yeah, the straps and the bungee cords were all over the I-70. First time
He called me. He's like, man, I chained up and I went about 2 miles and everything was all over the road.
we didn't know where to start. We didn't know where to finish. It
was pretty funny. Speaking of Denver, Joel's brakes heated up one time on him.
Oh, in front of the school?
Yeah. He called me and said, oh, man, my brakes are smoking. Me and Joel were pretty new in trucking, so we were learning
It
together.
was Grand Junction.
Yeah, was it? Okay. And he came down and got off the highway, and his tires caught on fire right in front. It's close to a school. I think they had to evacuate the school.
It was pretty embarrassing.
Put the fire out. But
Did you and Joel team together in the beginning?
Exploded.
yeah. Who? What'd you say? If we team together?
Did you guys team together, or
Yeah,
did you guys
we
work
teamed
together?
Man, when we first started in trucking, Joel and I'm not gonna tell you the company, but they put us together. So there was 3 of us in a truck. It was me and Joel and the trainer, and so we were on a rotation. The trainer never really drove, so it was either Joel and I drive. One of us were driving 11 hours each.
Right out of school.
And the trainer would just flip-flop. So he'd either be in the back in his bunk watching movies all the time, and Joel would be, up front or sleeping. And then when we'd rotate, it was like with 3-man rotation around a Freightliner Cascadia, and it was tight in there too. It was no fun. We did that for 30 days, maybe around 30 days with him.
Yeah, we didn't have enough deodorant.
I think we were better drivers than he was, actually. Maybe that's why he didn't drive. He just watched movies.
I think I got a pretty good guess who that was.
No, actually, that's not somebody. No, he's matter of fact. I think Joel still keeps in touch, but on social media or something. I think he's still with the same company, right, Joel?
No, I'm not talking about the person. I was talking about the company.
Oh, yeah, you probably know. they still do stuff like that, but yeah, it should have been one guy and one trainer, but that's how it worked out. And Joel and I, we were both in the military, so we made it work. We were kind of used to tight quarters, and That was an experience, though.
Strap yourself in on the top bunk.
Now they have those 3-bunk trucks. There's a bunk over the
The front?
I think
I've never
over
seen
the
it.
That's the mother-in-law suite.
yeah, isn't there? There is. It's I want to say. Well, I won't say the company, but I know I've seen those 3-bunk trucks now. They have that 3rd bunk.
Do
I
they,
forget
Kevin?
what kind of truck. I want to say it was it's on top of the driver and passenger seat, almost like those RVs.
That's what Jim Mackey would need for his 17 cats.
Yeah,
They'd have their own
exactly.
house up there.
And supposedly you're not supposed to ride up there while it's moving, but I'm sure if they're putting 3 people in there to train,
Oh yeah. Well, you have someone's always sleeping when you got 3 people in the truck, and I think Joel would remember
in the front
this.
seat.
I flew out of the bunk once. I might have been twice. This was years ago.
I
But
brake check you.
yeah, Joel brake checked me on accident, and he was probably in traffic, and I came flying out of the bunk right in the middle of the front 2 seats, and yeah, that wasn't fun. But,
it's not going to be fun when somebody's up there and the trainee hits a bridge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you don't want to be up there when you hit a bridge. No.
Yeah, you've had some trainees, haven't you, Russ?
Yeah, I trained a little bit. Butterbean was one of my students. He's worked for us off and on, and boy, that was a trip. He's a good guy, but we're from 2 different worlds. He's from Kentucky and down a holler, up a holler. I don't know. I've never been in a holler, but I love Butterbean. I love his family. They're great people, and I'm from Cleveland, so I'm definitely a city boy. It's definitely been a clash of 2 different worlds with me and Butterbean, but yeah, we've had a few characters in the truck. So, what's behind you, Mike? Is that the Gulf, or is that the
That's
Intercoastal?
Port Charlotte Harbor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Port Charlotte. Probably about 25 miles that way is Boca Grande Pass, which is basically the tarpon capital of the world. Tens of thousands of tarpon roll through there every year because these pass crabs get flushed out from the bay and the inland in there. So they get flushed out and they feed on those for. Actually, this week is the first. They call it the hill tide. This week's the first hill tide, but it runs through July, August.
I know about as much as what Mike's talking about as Ian knows about football.
I don't even know what a tarpon is or what it looks like.
Yeah, we'll get a picture up there.
Okay.
Mike's trying to get something
Actually,
for the fishing contest, so I think that's why he's down there.
I've sent you one, Zach. I think I sent you a pic. One of those pictures that I sent you before
Was it
was
the
a
red
tarpon.
one?
No, it was that big silver one.
They all look the same.
So one thing
I'll
I
send
want to
you
go
another
over, Mike and I were a few days ago. We went back and looked. We wanted, we just finished a quarter of the year, so we wanted to look at on our fleet what's our top 5 guys in gross revenue? Not gross revenue, but their gross income, what they've made gross income. And
It would have been. You're right. Gross revenue. Their total revenue.
Well, oh yeah, I guess it would be the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, their gross revenue. Yeah, you're right.
So for through the first quarter, I gotta say I was talking to Bill and I were texting about 5:30 this morning. Bill Parsley, man, we appreciate you. Tom told me today when Tom and I were talking about it. Tom's our reefer load planner, and he plans several of our open decks, step decks, or flatbeds. But Bill was a trainer, I think, for 21 years somewhere. Well, I know where. I'm not going to mention it, but a very good guy. And Tom said to me today, he said, man, if I could have 4 Bill Parsleys, I'd give all my drivers back to everybody else. And just because Bill's just so easy to work with. And he's the top gross revenue on our fleet through one quarter at $107,000 the first quarter. That's pretty strong, because if he keeps that up, you're talking about $400,000, maybe a little over that for the year. So Bill, man, keep it up. We're proud of you. We know you're doing it right. You're keeping it safe, and we're gonna have you on the show soon. we had and Bill pulls a reefer. What's surprising is, van rates have been pretty strong lately, but usually reefer rates, everybody knows they're usually better. They've been pretty comparable lately. The next three guys, Mike, I think it was, the second, third, and fourth place guy are all dry vans. And they're coming in at 105, 105,000, 101, and 100. Those guys are doing great.
It was 105, 103, 100 were the top. Yeah, I think 3 or 4 of our top guys were vans. So
yeah.
And they run hard. They run their butts off.
What did you say? So Ray, since Ray and Kevin are on the phone with us, you guys still with me?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
still here.
So I talked to them, or they don't mind me sharing this information. So Ray's been with us for years, and I told you a couple of weeks ago, Ray paid off his truck about a year and a half or so ago. He was in a full service lease truck long before he got that truck with us on our fleet. He drove that, and Ray was our top revenue for a lot of those years back when he was in the full service lease truck, and then when he bought his truck. Ray's on a different level right now with how he runs. Ray goes home a lot. He runs for 3 or 4 days, and then he goes and takes a week vacation. Does it every week. At least he tries. But Ray's through the first quarter, Ray's at just over 60,000. And so if you do the math, he's probably going to be over that 200. He'll, probably closer to 230, 240. And with a lot of time off. Every time Ray leaves the house and heads up from San Antonio, Texas to the Midwest, halfway up he calls Ian and says, "I'm homesick. Plant me back to Texas."
I told him that yesterday.
Yeah, I know you did. We've heard that almost every week when you leave the house. But that's okay. Ray's earned it. He's paid off his truck, and he can change it a little bit. He can switch those gears down a little bit and roll a little slower. He's making great money, and he's doing a great job. Ray's spent a lot of time getting himself everything he's got out of debt, and he's got a house that's almost paid for too. So, that's pretty cool. Kevin, you're right there with them. I thought you were right there exactly at 60 with Ray, but we looked before the show. Kevin, you're at just over 70. So, and Kevin, you hit the house a lot too. I mean, I know you got a family and stuff.
I do.
And so Kevin, every time he turns the truck on the West Coast, or if he comes back from Texas or anywhere, he turns it east, and he wants to go to North Carolina first. I did talk Kevin and AJ and Nate into going to Maine about a couple of months ago. It's kind of the running joke in our office that if I'm helping somebody book a load, I send them to Maine and
Or North Dakota.
Yeah, or North Dakota.
Yeah,
But
Maine, North Dakota.
yeah, and but what happened was Tom sent those 3 guys down to Brownsville area, and we had loads of onions coming out of there, but they weren't they were supposed to be in buckets or pails or whatever, right, Kevin?
Yeah, they were supposed to be in bins.
Bins, yeah.
We got down there and they were in bags.
Yeah, and so we called Tom had to go somewhere that afternoon, and I told him I'll take care of it. I called the broker, and he said no, they were supposed to be. I think we were lied to. I think because I called every load down there in Brownsville was onions that week, so there was I called you, Kevin, right? I said, tell the boys, let's go. Let's roll. There's nothing down there we can load this week unless it's onions, and you can't. I mean, we're just not going to put it on our truck. I mean, they were loaded sloppy, right, Kev?
Yeah, they were loaded real sloppy.
Yeah, so we were just not going to put it on our truck, and Nikki Bissett would kill us, so we didn't. I said, Kevin, round up the boys and deadhead to Laredo. I'll have you booked before you get there. And I did, but when I called Kevin, I said, how far from Laredo are you? And this is on a Friday, so we needed a load, and it was getting late in the afternoon. He said, well, I think you told me you were about an hour out, right?
Yeah, it was about an hour out.
And I said, Kevin, listen, I got you a good paying load. I don't even remember what it was now. It was probably 68 or something like that, going to Maine from Laredo. And at that time, it was a few months ago, that was a pretty good paying load. It might be better now. And so I said, you break the noise to Nate and AJ. I think you did that over the CB, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
How were they?
That load wasn't as bad as the load you sent me and Nathan on going to New Jersey, though.
Oh, yeah, that was a year ago. Yeah, well, it was a 15 stopper. That was a 15 stop load or something like that. And I said, guys, it's to Jersey. And you guys were in what were you hauling then? A dry van or reefer? It was a reefer. Yeah. It was a short run, paid a lot of money. It was the same company that Jesse just ran that 9 stopper for. But I said, man, you got all the time in the world. It's over the weekend, good paying load, low fuel. But they did it. I mean, you guys have done everything I've asked you to do. And you guys had some really nice paychecks that week, but I know I sent you into that was a headache, wasn't it?
It was, at least for me.
Yeah. I think yours was
I got
worse.
down there, and the brokers, they had mismanaged and set up appointment times that didn't exist, and I did a whole lot of riding around in circles.
Yeah, and that's not fun in New Jersey. I've been there in a truck before.
It was expensive too.
Yeah. So I want to do this. Ray and Kevin, listen, Kumar's our sound engineer. He knows nothing about trucking, like I said earlier on the show. So we've wrote down some questions here at the office. And Kevin and Nate, I want you guys to wait. Let Kumar see if he can answer these questions. He doesn't know the questions. And then let's see if you guys can tell him what the right answer is afterwards. You guys with me?
All right.
Yeah.
Trucking with Kumar.
How's it going?
Kumar, if you have super singles on your bobtail, how many tires do you have?
Well, okay, so we're gonna super singles on your bobtail. I'd say you'd have 12.
12.
There you go. That's correct.
No, it's not.
No.
Nate or Kevin,
Yeah,
Ray,
you divide it by 2.
what do you got?
Got 6.
That's right. Kumar, there's super singles are on your drives, so you'd have 4 of those in the back and 2 steer tires for
So
6.
if you
I don't
had
think he knows what a
two-
bobtail is.
If you had 2 super singles, it would be 12.
No.
Yeah.
He meant to say divided by 2.
He meant to say divided by 2. All right, so 1 point goes to Kevin and Ray. Kumar, where would you find a chicken coop?
My best guess would be on a farm.
There you go.
Where do you find a chicken coop, Kevin, Ray?
At the way station.
That's right.
It is a way station.
It is a way station on the side of the road, Coom. Coom,
Okay.
do you know what a way station is? No, that's not one of the questions. We'll go there. Maybe next
I
week.
think I've seen one. They're always closed, right?
Hopefully.
Yes, they are.
For
Where you're at.
4-wheelers they are.
Yeah. Kumar, what is a wiggle wagon?
That I'd have to say when you park your truck at night, it turns into the wiggle wagon.
Let's go.
That's the best answer I've heard all week.
That's not it?
Bonk.
No. Ray. Ray, Kevin, can you help me out here? And this show is always clean, politics and religion free. Kumar.
My bad.
All right.
It is a bobtail hauling either doubles or triples.
That is correct. Well, it doesn't have to be a bob. Oh, yeah, your bobtail, yeah. Hauling.
Bobtail hauling
In
doubles
all,
or triples. Tractor
in
trailer
all
doubles.
fairness, I just figured out what a wiggle waggle was today, so it'll be okay.
Yeah, same.
So we give
I
him a
should've
half
let you
a point
answer.
for that one. So you guys you're at 2.5 points, and to Kumar's 0. Come on, Kumar. Let's see if you get one
All right, I'm
question
gonna get
right.
the
They
next
get
one.
easier. A lot of states have bridge laws. What is a bridge law for, Kumar?
The bridge law, I would have to say you can't have more than one truck on a bridge at one time.
That's a good guess.
That's depending on how long the bridge is.
Right.
You might only be able to.
You have
fit
to like
one.
stop the truck and then wait for the other one to radio back.
40-foot
Like,
bridge.
yeah, I cleared it.
That
Go
might
ahead.
be the railroad tracks. Ray, Kevin, you want to explain to Kumar what is a bridge law for?
I'm gonna let
I let
Ray
Kevin
handle
answer.
this one.
Oh, come on, man.
You had a better definition.
All right,
The
Ray.
best way I can answer is the axle distance to evenly distribute your weight, so that way you don't destroy the public highways, right?
Yeah,
I guess that's the best. That's
that's
answer I
right.
got.
We'll give you a full point for that one. Basically, it's a way to divide up the weight that you're putting on your truck evenly among your axles, so that you don't tear up the roads and the infrastructure in the country. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
gonna give you, we'll give you one, so they're at 3.5. Under normal circumstances, how much can you have on your drive axles, Kumar?
Let's go a ton.
You mean how much weight or how many people?
2,000
A ton.
pounds.
So 2,000 pounds is your answer. Is that your final answer, Kumar, or do you want to phone a friend? No phoning a friend. Is that your final
That's
answer?
my
Phone a
final
friend.
answer.
Guys, he said that a ton, 2,000 pounds, is how much he can legally have on his drive axles. Kevin, Ray?
It'll be 34,000.
All right.
I was close. I was close.
Very close.
That's 4.5. Last question, last but not least. Kumar, what is a lumper?
Okay. Let's see.
Clean and politically and religious free.
A lumper. Roadkill. Yeah.
That's road pizza.
Final answer, not phoning in a friend. Roadkill. That's it.
Roadkill. Okay, at 4.5 to 0, Kevin and Ray, what do we got? What is a lumper?
Okay, so we used to have an old driver named Nick Bunker, and he had a friend on his truck at all times, and he paid him to help him unload his trailer. So that's a lumper, right?
That is.
Lumper humper.
That's a lumper. So, yeah. And so Nick is still a good friend of us, a friend of ours, and a friend of the show. And so Nick did hire somebody to ride in the truck with him, and we did put it on the insurance. And Ray, he rode around the country with it didn't he, Zach, for a couple of weeks, maybe months. And because Nick
I think
pulled
he
a
got paid
reefer.
with Xbox cards.
So
Or,
he would
playing with internet games and cards.
Yeah, and he paid him, and he took care of his meals, so he would do all the work as far as like when they had to unload stuff and
Yeah, because we were running shoe carnival runs where we had
hand
5 to 6 stops, and we had to unload everything. So
That's
yeah,
why,
Nick
yeah.
hired a lumper humper.
And Nick was playing video games in the truck while the lumper that he hired and took him everywhere in the country. It was funny.
Sound like our old trainer.
Yeah.
Was he doing a lot of
Well, I take it back.
loads where it was?
He was in a dry van then. Him and Ray were running the same loads, and it was Shoe Carnival, and they were running. You had to hand unload, but Ray did it all the time, and it wasn't that hard, was it, Ray?
No, I love the exercise. I mean, hey, every once in a while you need some exercise, man. Because I didn't mind.
Yeah, I did those plant loads out of Florida sometimes.
We did those for Casey.
I did those too.
Yeah.
10, 12 stops. You got a tailgate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't mind the exercise too.
Yeah.
I need it.
But I think the answer you're really looking for is a lumper is not really what I described. We're just joking. I know Nick is a good sport, and he'd let me make fun of him like that. But that's not really the answer you're looking for, right? I'll let Kevin can answer that.
So Kevin, explain to Kumar what a lumper is.
Please do.
A lumper is somebody, when you show up to the distribution center, you have to pay them for them to unload your trailer because they won't let you do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the origin of the term lumper for these people?
Couldn't call them scabs.
No, we don't know the origin. We don't know where it came
I
from.
don't.
Lump or two.
But it's a lumper. So there you have it, Trucking with Kumar.
I would call them.
Kumar, you're a good sport. I appreciate you playing along.
Gonna say the same thing.
And
Just another
we probably
term.
will revisit this again in the future.
I'm down.
Mike.
We can make fun of AJ and Nathan next time. Nathan rode around with AJ for the last 2 weeks. He's been his personal lumper.
Oh, that's right. Nate's truck broke
They're
down.
still together? In the
Yeah,
truck?
because and Nate's truck I think is almost fixed, right, Kevin?
The last I heard, it's supposed to be done by the end of the week.
Okay. So instead of Nate, being stuck and not being able to make any money, he jumped on AJ's truck, and they're all flatbed, and they're running teams, and AJ's splitting the money with him, and they're taking care of it. So it worked out, and it's pretty cool, the camaraderie we have on our fleet, that guys get to know each other, become friends, and when someone's kind of got it down, their truck's in the shop, that opportunity is available. So if it's not up to us, but these guys have become friends, and that's pretty cool. They take care of each other.
10-4.
Yeah. So how's keto going, Ray?
Oh, I had some deviled eggs today. I'm glad I'm the only one in the truck.
Yeah. Kevin joined me on the keto affair, which I'm 3 weeks into, and I don't think I've lost anything. I'm only trying to lose a little bit, but I'm doing it with Tina. And your wife joined on about a week ago with us too, didn't she, Ray?
Yeah. Yes. Today she had a kale salad and took a picture of it, and so she's working on it.
That's
Was
cool.
that to make it last
We want to
longer,
have Yeah, well, we're trying to look good for next year in Florida. So.
Well, I was just saying you're taking pictures of it, so I figured maybe that way it might last longer.
I think we lost Mike.
Well, no, it was the deviled eggs. I mean, that's all. That's what I had for dinner.
Well, we know they're liquor.
But yeah, no. So we're trying to stay on it.
How's the weather where you're at? You guys are relatively in the same area. You're around Atlanta, going west, and Ray's on his way to Florida.
Well,
I'm in Florida right now. It's about 75 degrees.
Yeah. Well, it's been nice. We've been able to golf and get outside, working in the yard lately up here, and then we woke up this morning to 4 to 6 inches of snow. I don't know what it was, but that's what they called for, and we got it. And it's back to winter in the spring.
You can come to my house and work if you want to. I mean, if you're that bored.
Yeah, no, well, I would love to get out of the weather, trust me. But I think this will be about it up here.
It melted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most of it's gone now.
Completely gone now.
Good. So with the 2021 NFL mock draft, let's get a couple more picks in, Joel, this week.
Da-da-da-da-da.
With the 6th pick in the NFL 2021 Joel Howell mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select
Kwity Paye, edge rusher, University of Michigan.
I've never heard of him. And we don't like that school up north.
Yeah.
Not from Ohio. With the 7th pick in the NFL 2021 Joel Howell mock draft, the Detroit Lions select
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Tom said that today.
Detroit Lions select Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU.
I like it. With the 8th pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the Carolina Panthers select
Da-da-da-da-da. Micah Parson, linebacker, Penn State.
With the 9th pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the Denver Broncos pick
Da-da-da-da-da. Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
That's an interesting pick. They don't have an answer in Denver at quarterback yet. They're going to keep drafting them. With the 10th pick in the NFL draft, how about them Cowboys, Ray? The Dallas Cowboys select
Patrick Surtain, cornerback, Alabama.
There you go. Probably no help to the Cowboys.
I'm holding my breath.
Yeah.
You got all those written down so you can see how close you were?
Oh yeah,
when
we got
the draft happened?
the draft's in a couple more weeks. It's a couple weeks away, right?
I'll
Joel?
have eggs thrown
So we'll
at
have-
me by this time next week.
Yeah, I think we'll. Well, when's the draft, Joel?
Next Thursday, 29th.
So we'll get.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get
The last 16 done next week.
We'll get the last 16 done. So we'll see it on
far off
Friday,
we
but
were.
we'll see how good Joel was.
Place your bets.
So, you guys got anything else? We had a pretty good week this week. You know, our drivers are staying safe, staying healthy, and doing a good job out there. Zach, how about you? What about Greg? What's Greg been doing?
Greg went out to Cali.
Greg had a big week.
He did. He went out to Cali. Took $7,000 down to Florida, and then like 2,000 back up to Alabama.
Nice.
And then finished it off.
$9,000 week.
Yeah.
Drive van. Yeah. I talked to Greg last night. He had some ulcer problems 3-4 weeks ago and was down for about a week.
Yeah.
He said he's doing great, feeling good. So glad to hear that. And he's back out there doing it. So if that's it, Mike, you got anything else?
No, I wasn't able to go over much this week. Like I said, I didn't have much with me, but next week I'll put together some of my guys' routes and pull it up on Google so you can kind of see the total miles like I did, last week, and kind of see their route and what it paid, like I did for Robbie last week. So I'll do that next week, put it together and talk about the rates a little more and lanes and how my guys ran.
So I do want to say something. A shout out to Brian Ashmore at Truckworx. We appreciate you, Brian. Sent a few other guys to talk to you. I don't know what's worked out with that yet, but Truckworx has been a great partner with us. So when I got this cup, and I think we're going to have some pictures of it. You can see it's like an oddly shaped cup. Brian sent me the Yeti cooler. He sent me some T-shirts, sent me some the hoodie I got on, hat. So when the box came, this was about a year ago, the box came, Tina and I were working from home then, and she saw this cup and she liked it, and I said, well, I'll keep the other stuff and you can have this Yeti cup, and she was happy about it. And I don't take it out of the house. I left it there. One day last week, I couldn't find my Yeti cup, the small one that I had. I left it in the garage or somewhere, but so I grabbed her cup. She didn't know it. I took it out of the house, and I had it here at the office all day. And then Robbie came in, and Keely, his fiance or girlfriend, we were talking outside after we closed the office, and I set my cup on the car, on my Jeep, on the Jeep hood, on the side fender. And so after about an hour conversation, I forgot, got in the truck and took off. And then Zach, you or Ian sent me a picture of this the next morning in a text and said, is this yours? And I was like, oh, dear God. And I said, I think it was Ian. I said, don't tell Tina. I got to replace that. And so my plan was to call Brian and say, Brian, listen, I'll pay for it. I'll pay the shipping. Just send me overnight me another one so I don't get in trouble. But Jim Stonkus, our CEO, got on our every morning we do a company meeting, and some of our people are still out remotely, some are in the office. So on the company conference call, Tina's still working remotely till May. Jim immediately went over that Russ's cup is here and it's ran over. And so Tina came up to me because I was out in the garage during that meeting. I was getting ready to go to the office, and she's like, where's my cup? She didn't. I didn't know that he had said anything, and I'm like, what cup? So I got in trouble, Brian, and if let's make a deal. I got to get this replaced. So I had to tell that. But having said that, thanks, Brian, for all that you do. Also, want to give a shout out to Over the Road Apparel. You can contact the show. We can get you in touch with them. Work clothes for the modern day trucker. And if you guys don't have anything else, go Browns, go Indians, and go Cavaliers.
Like and subscribe.